What's going on, everyone? We are back for another live edition of the Bleed Los Podcast Carne Asada post-game edition. We survived the bullpen, took game one. Everyone can exhale. We are going to talk all about it. We have got Cody, aka Ganello, in the house. We've got Anthony. Producer Roger is behind the scenes at Dodger Stadium. And as you know, I am Drea. But before we get into everything and talk about the victory tonight, we're going to make sure to tell you about DodgersBeat.com. Stay up to date and in the know with all of the latest and most comprehensive coverage of the Los Angeles Dodgers. It is your one stop for articles, interviews, contests, merch, and more. Never miss a beat and check out DodgersBeat.com. Fellas, one down. 12 more to go. Anthony, I'll start with you. Playoff baseball's back. How are you feeling?
Not good, especially after the eighth inning. Like, it started off so well. Like, everyone's vibes were up. We're excited. We're like, finally, the Dodgers are back on the big stage, performing well. And then the eighth inning happened, and then all the goodwill that we built up those couple of innings
just gone, right? Out the door. Yeah, Cody, we made it through. Barely.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very happy first couple innings. Shout out to Blake Snell, did everything that the team needed him to do and more. Pretty much played up to his contract. Pretty much ever since he's came back in August, has been probably the second, or arguably you could say the best starter in the Dodgers rotation. And he definitely fit that billing today. 7 innings, just 2 earned runs. He really looked like he had the stuff to go the distance tonight. And I was rooting for it just because we don't really see that anymore in today's age of baseball. Clayton Kershaw, we all talked about, he's retiring. He's kind of like the last pitcher I think of that you could see him going 9 innings each and every start in his prime. And Blake Snell definitely had that touch and feel with his pitches tonight. Just had the hitters in the Reds lineup completely off balance. They get 2 runs off of him in the 7th, and then he's done. And then you get handed off to the bullpen after the offense gives you 5 home runs, almost 10 or over 10 runs, and they just ended up struggling and had to go through 3 pitchers in 1 inning. And then they go to Blake Trinan, who did look, at first he looked shaky in that first bat. And I was like, oh, here we go again. We're going to go through another carousel ride of pitchers. But then he ended up locking in and closing out the game. So 50-50 on vibes tonight. Obviously, we saw everything we liked about the team. The offense looked good. The starting pitching looked good. Defense was pretty good tonight as well. But it's just the bullpen. And I'm not sure if, like Henriquez and Drea, with the way they've struggled recently, especially Drea, who's definitely been overworked a little bit in the second half of the season. Most innings he's ever pitched. Could be something to watch for the rest of the postseason. I wouldn't say any of these guys other than Trinan you can't use in high leverage if they can't even pitch in low leverage. But that's where I'm at right now. But don't want to diminish too much of what we saw the Dodgers do tonight. It was still a very good win to kick off the postseason.
No, our text chain was lively. I was like, just thinking of all the amazing things we're going to talk about, just like one thing after another of things I was impressed with. And I was so excited, still am excited. But yeah, it got off to a really great start. You had Mariachi Joe come out, and who doesn't love to see him start the game? So love seeing that. And just immediately you have Shohei showing us his, doing Shohei things. But yeah, I don't know how to even survive this bullpen after tonight. Like, what needs to happen, Anthony? Like, what do they need to be discussing right now to fix this? Is there a fix for this?
Honestly, I don't think there is a fix. I threw out Anthony Bonda's name. Maybe if you replace him with Alex Vesia. I've been reading a lot from just people in general that are tweeting. Maybe Alex Vesia just didn't fully recover from that oblique injury that he had earlier on, that kind of hampered him and kind of just pushed things a little bit too fast. But I'm not willing to let him kind of figure it out here in the postseason. He had a couple of weeks to kind of figure it out, and it's kind of still going downhill for him. The same goes with Edgardo Enriquez. I feel like every time the tandem of the two kind of come into the game, I feel like we're just going to be in for an adventure. It doesn't really help that he didn't have any of his command on there out there tonight, and it felt like it was snowballing, and like there was just like a sudden silence in the house because on the broadcast they said, "Well, the tying run's on deck," and like that kind of ultimately hit us like, well, yeah, that it is true. The tying run is on deck. So what happens here? And thankfully, Jack Dreyer got out of it. But yeah, this just feels like it's going to be the issue going out throughout the playoffs. And if we do go further, I feel like better teams will find a way to expose that issue. We were lucky we ran into the Reds, who I think were just overmatched by us. But a better team like Philadelphia, a better team like Milwaukee, a better team like Chicago will figure this out and kind of expose our flaws or our weaknesses.
Oh, yeah. They're licking their chops right now. That's exactly what they're looking at, zeroing in. I mean, obviously, with Philly would be next. And you know that they're just like, just get past the starters, find a way to get past the starters, get them out of the game, get to the Dodgers bullpen. Cody, is the piggyback plan looking like the only plan right now? What do we do?
I would say definitely tomorrow. I would probably say I don't want to see anyone from the Dodgers bullpen except Tyler Glasnow or Emmett Sheehan. They ended up not burning Sheehan tonight, so I think that's good. Yamamoto it can definitely go pitch for pitch like Blake Snell went today. I expect another solid outing from the Dodgers ace from the start of the season until now. They need at least 6+ innings from Yamamoto, just because I just don't think you want to throw out the bullpen again, especially if it's a tighter game. I think it'll probably be a little bit lower scoring. I think the Reds are going to be, backs are against the wall for them. They're going to be using every single player on their roster. I imagine they're going to see Littell, Abbott, Lodolo. You're going to see everybody. They're trying to fight for their season. So Dodgers got to be prepared for that. They got to be prepared for a dogfight from a team that's desperate for a win. But I trust Yamamoto. I trust Dave Roberts, who definitely looked a very frustrated in that dugout, clearly because his pitchers couldn't throw strikes. And I think, Dreyer, give him a little bit of a credit. He probably looked the best of the three. Vesia just had a little bit shaky at command. Henriquez was the one that I was really disappointed with, where it just looked like he had nothing besides velocity. I mentioned in our text thread, 101 miles per hour looks a little easy when you're not throwing it for a strike. At that point in the game, I was really like, man, if you just lob it down the middle, you probably have a better chance to get out of the inning, because they really needed a double play. The whole issue was just being bases loaded. You couldn't have any room for error. And Dreyer was definitely feeling that. He's a rookie. All the pitches that the Dodgers bullpen kind of go with are trying to get swing and miss stuff. But when the Reds are biting at all those sliders and curveballs and sinkers out of the zone, really makes it difficult for the Dodgers to execute and get out of an inning there. Luckily, they didn't, give up a grand slam and make it even closer than what it felt like it was. But it definitely took a big hit out of tonight's victory. But I expect the Dodgers to rebound tomorrow. I expect to just see 2 or 3 pitchers tomorrow. And then they're going to go on to Philadelphia, hopefully, with a fresh bullpen, a fresh pitching staff. And I still like their chances just because the Phillies bullpen as well isn't that good either. They're right around on par with the Dodgers this season. They've had their fair share of struggles besides, Duran, who they acquired at the deadline and has been really good for them. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully Yamamoto, takes the pill and gives us a victory tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm really thinking about that next series, because there's still a very good chance we can hit, the NLDS. But what really scares me to death is that, like you saw all the other wild card games today, they were all close games. This was by far like the biggest distance in terms of score. The rest of the games, I think it's fair to assume, could be extremely close games. We're talking 1-run, 2-run games, which is, I know I was way off on my prediction, but I thought I was going to be 2 runs. And we can't have this happen. This is like do or die. If we don't get it right, we're out of the playoffs. And I just want to just kind of, Anthony, get your take on the Phillies, because, in all honesty, I think it could be just like last year's NLDS, the real World Series. And I don't know if you feel that same way, but we got to get there, and we got to have 0 errors in that series. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel that way. I think the Phillies are our biggest opponent on the NL side. It sucks that we have to play them early on in the division series. I also think if we do play them, it'll go the distance, 5 games. I think both teams are just very good on both sides, have star players on both sides, can make a difference with one swing of the bat or one pitch here and there. Again, our overlying issue is just the bullpen. It just like it highlights how, and it's now in front of a national TV audience. Like, so now
Yes.
everyone knows that. So it's not just like Dodger fans complaining. No, like everyone saw like the bullpen is truly our Achilles heel in this run. I just feel going forward, it's going to have to be piggyback options. I think our starter is going to have to go 6, and it's going to have to be whether it's Emmett Sheehan, Tyler Glasnow, Kershaw, Robleski, even whether it's just like we're just got to bridge away or find a way to get the last 9 outs of the game or the last 6 outs of the game, whatever that number may be. We just have to figure out a way to get there. But it's kind of like ridiculous because our big free agent signings were two bullpen arms. Tanner Scott doesn't get into this game, but Kirby Yates is completely left off the playoff roster. If they would have been like somewhat average, they would have probably had a lot of Dodger fans kind of feeling at ease. But now this certain like unease about the bullpen is kind of looming throughout October.
Right. So the real dogs this year are going to not be our bullpen. Our dogs are going to have to be our starting pitchers, and we're really going to have to expect a lot out of them. Luckily, I think that they're up for the task. But it really just kind of I want to kind of pivot to some of the better things. I mean, we saw a leadoff home run from Shohei Ohtani, 100 and almost 118 miles per hour off the bat, has a multi home run game. So does Teo. I mean, it made me think, like, all this time we haven't really seen that sort of power for a while now with our offense. We have glimpses, but was the regular season, let's go to you, Cody, was the regular season maybe just boring for them and this is who they really are and we can expect a little more of this from our offense?
Yeah, I think pivoting from Ohtani, because this is who Ohtani is. He's going to win MVP this year, hit 55 home runs. He gets, number 1 and 2 for the postseason. He's just continuing to add to his legacy, of one MVP star to show up for the postseason. I mean, are you going to take Aaron Judge or are you going to take Shohei Ohtani? Well, we're getting a pretty big sample size from Aaron Judge, and it's not looking like it's Ohtani, though, has shown up for these moments. Teoscar, though, I'll give him a lot of credit. He took it on the chin from the media, from the fans, about his performance during the regular season. Clearly, it was a down year for him, from what we saw in year 1 when the Dodgers signed him last year. But he was dealing with a groin injury. He did have a toe injury. I am probably more in line to believe that he didn't let on to how much that affected him. And over the last month and a half is probably the healthiest he's been. So now we're starting to see that, because in September he looked well. In defense, he's looked a lot better. And then the offense, I mean, well, we saw it today. And when you get that little bit of confidence back, just like what Dave Roberts talks about the bullpen, Teoscar, those 2 swings today, and then I believe he had 3 hits. So he looked comfortable. He looks confident. He is the X factor for this Dodgers lineup. If he can get going, they can really score a lot of runs. And last October, that's really was their bread and butter. Yes, the bullpen was really elite last year compared to this year, but they just outslugged everybody last year besides the Padres series, which was relatively close. They outhit the Mets. They outhit the Yankees. This offense is going to be the reason why they win. The bullpen would be the reason why they lose. And I like what we saw from the offense today. Mookie Betts contributed. Kike Hernandez continued his postseason legacy. Teoscar, Ohtani, Edman got into the fun. Tommy Tanks. All around, collectively, a very, very good game. 15 hits and 10 runs in a postseason game. That's fantastic. I get that it's the Reds. I try to give them as much credit. The Dodgers let the Reds come back into this game, but this is my biggest issue with the newest playoff, format. An 83 Reds team with the pitching they have and the offense they have really shouldn't be playing these games, and the Dodgers should have just blown them out 10-1, 10-2, but their bullpen was the biggest issue here today. But definitely the offense is something I'm smiling about moving forward for tomorrow and for the NLDS or the possible NLDS matchup.
Yeah, Teo's bat flips, I love it. It reminds me of what we were seeing a year ago from him. So yeah, Anthony Keektober, has it arrived?
It has arrived, but I'm afraid it might have come to a false start. I do want to know if his back really tightened up or if they just took it out by precaution. I know that kind of went under the radar in the game, kind of because like they were up at the time and like the broadcasters didn't really do a good job of saying
Yeah.
it. Kind of just was like a side note. I think I saw Cody's text and they said like, "Is Kike out this game?" And like I had to like rewind it and actually like listen to it. I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's actually out this game." So hopefully it's just precautionary. Nothing about it. Just kind of like, oh, his back tightening up. We're up 10-1. There's no way we're gonna lose this game eventually, and we'll just kind of like let him rest at it. They did the same with Tommy Edman, kind of take him off his feet, subbed in Miguel Rojas. So I feel like if there's games where the Dodgers are just up and the bullpen doesn't bullpen, they're just gonna take precautionary efforts with their guys, especially if they see the other team's kind of gonna punt it. But I think Kike knows it's time. He came out there swinging. Literally, they were talking about like, oh, Kike Hernandez loves the big moments in October, and he goes out there in the first at bat he has, he hits a single. So I know it's Kike's time to shine, basically.
Yeah, update on Kike. Dave Roberts said he'll be in the lineup tomorrow. So they just took it out for precautionary. Tommy Edman, they said his ankle is barking up. He's limited to just the infield for, it looks like, the rest of the postseason. Kind of what me and Dre were talking about in the pregame show.
That's great news because I feel like he's such like a pivotal piece of our playoff run. And so that's going to be something to just be, very relieved about. Another thing we're talking about, Cody, is Hunter Green. I mean, I know that we kind of got to him early, but I mean, overall, it's like this really good playoff experience for his future because I mean, he's still obviously very young and learning, but he wasn't horrible. And there's some things that you can take away, but what did you think of him overall besides giving up the runs?
Yeah, the Dodgers have his number, and all the numbers I was looking into it just seemed like the Dodgers are the team that is like his kryptonite. So they kind of attacked him. They weren't really scared of the fastball. Ohtani was the tone setter. Him hitting the leadoff home run kind of set the tone for the entire offense for the rest of the day. He really couldn't get by a lot of the key hitters in the Dodgers lineup, gave up the home run to Teoscar, to Edman, and then Ohtani. So, first playoff start, I mean, usually for those young guys, it could be a rough one. Not everybody's first playoff start is always memorable. He probably had the pressure of pitching into his hometown against the team he grew up rooting for. So you got to be built for October. And clearly the Reds, they finally get their taste of it. They're still alive. They'll still play tomorrow to try to force a game 3 and try to win the series over Los Angeles. But as history shows, most of the time when you win game 1, you're probably not moving on with this new format. So Reds, they'll be back, I assume, in the future. They got a really good young group of guys. We'll see what they throw at Los Angeles tomorrow. But yeah, to hit Hunter Green, guy who's been one of the best pitchers in baseball, to do it for like the third or fourth time, that's good for the Dodgers offense.
Yeah, I totally agree. I know when I think it was Aldin Gonzalez interviewing, mid-game interview to their manager, Terry Francona, and his quote was, "They've got a good lineup," meaning the Dodgers. And that's just what can you say? It is obviously just jam-packed with superstars and talent, but credit to Green. I mean, it must have been the lights are bright at Dodger Stadium, especially the defending champs. So definitely good experience for him. But yeah, so we've got tomorrow we've got Yamamoto, correct, on the mound. Is that right? And he just got, I think, was it Player of the Month, right? So what can we look forward to him tomorrow, Anthony?
More of the same. I kind of expect him to kind of just pick up where he left off in September, kind of just be dominant. Uh, I honestly feel like if he had more run support and a few more wins, he would probably be in consideration for a Cy Young. But unfortunately, that's not the case. But I do feel like he'll go out there and kind of just feed off the energy that Blake Snell brought today and kind of just be out there and go dominant. I do worry about the Dodgers offense. I know they're going to see Yamamoto on the bump, and they'll probably not provide him any insurance tomorrow. But I do feel like we're just overpowering for the Reds, and I feel like we'll come out with a victory tomorrow as well.
So we're celebrating tomorrow post game, Cody, victory. Sweet.
That's my pick. I think that was all of our picks. If you can check that out on the Dodgers Beat socials. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard for the Reds to come back from this. Clearly, I think they'll get some momentum from, scoring, those 4 runs off the Dodgers bullpen via the walk. But I imagine none of those pitchers that pitched today are going to be available. Maybe Blake Trinan gets into the game, but I highly doubt that as well. I really think it's going to be Yamamoto, maybe Emmett Sheehan, maybe Tyler Glasnow, just to get him some work. Because if you sweep, when the hell is the next time Tyler Glasnow going to get on a mound? And that's a guy who's built on routine and rhythm, and you want to make sure his body doesn't feel any types of soreness, all that types of stuff. So, I feel like Yamamoto he is a postseason legend. You take away that first game of the NLDS, he's been nails for the Dodgers, clinched game 5 last year, was nails against the Mets, and then won his World Series start as well at Dodger Stadium against the Yankees. So I'm expecting more of the same. I know the Reds have struggled against lefties more than they have right-handed pitchers, but Yamamoto is one of the best pitchers in baseball. He'll definitely be top 3 Cy Young vote getter this year. So, I know he's built for the moment. Dodgers would definitely love to clinch in just 2 games to set up the rotation for the next series. Clearly, that's what they have their mindset to, and I think we all kind of expect that. We just want to see what we're working with the bullpen tomorrow. That's definitely going to be the underlying issue that's going to follow the Dodgers, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. So if you had to narrow it down to one guy, player of the game, Anthony, I'll start with you. Who was the player of the game tonight?
It's hard because 2 guys immediately came to mind, but I feel like we give Otani his flowers enough that I'm actually going to pick Teoscar Hernandez. I think he set the tone with that 3-run homer. Blake Snell had kind of been cruising, and it was only 1-0, and I'm like, the offense needs to put up a number here for him, and Teoscar kind of broke it open early there with that 3-run homer. So Teoscar Hernandez is my player of the game.
Yeah. Cody?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Snell. I'm a pitching guru type of guy. I'm going to go with Snell because he gave the Dodgers 7 innings. I can't even imagine what the bullpen would have done if he only went 4 or 5 innings today and you gave them more innings to work. I think that's what you want from the Dodgers pitching staff. I think you are hoping each starter, whether it's Otani, Yamamoto, Snell, or Glasnow, maybe even Kershaw, you're hoping to get 6+ each outing, and then you figure out the pieces from there. That's what the Dodgers are going to have to do. They're going to have to go back to old school pitching, where the starters go deep into the games and the bullpen guys, they're getting just the last 2 or 3 innings of the ball game and trying to close it out because the Dodgers made it stressful. They made a very easy breezy game for us fans turn into a very stressful night. That inning just felt like it went on for an hour in my head. That's the only time I had sweat dripping from my forehead, just kind of face palming what I was watching on my television. So, I think Blake Snell, this was definitely his game. Game 1 verified starter. I don't know why there was no doubt of him getting the ball for tonight's game. Definitely really good for him to take into the next series if the Dodgers move on, because like I said in our text thread, he would probably be in line to start on the way the NLDS is lined up with the off days. He would be lined up to start game 2 on full rest. So definitely a good outing for him.
Oh my God. Yeah, I might have to agree with you on Snell because, we are going to rely on our starting pitching for this, 12 more games if we get lucky enough to get that far. They're going to have to bring it, and they already know it. I think that they watch the game. I think the offense is watching this game, knowing we need to really come, with all the runs. We need to come with excellent pitching because there's just no way we can rely on our bullpen this year. This is just not the year of the bullpen. So I'm going to definitely go with Snell too, because I was in several chains, but I was calling him like he's just a demon tonight. He is on. I am loving what I'm seeing, so definitely want to give him his flowers for sure. So let's just kind of look ahead a little bit. If we do, I think you just mentioned it, Cody, get past this, the DS starts on Monday. Is that right?
So the division series would start on Saturday, October 4th. It'll be in Philadelphia, so whoever wins this series. So that's why the Dodgers probably want to get this wrapped up tomorrow. Reds are probably going to put up a really good fight. As far as the Red starter for tomorrow, they could change it just because I was very surprised that they did Littell for game 2 rather than just going Abbott on short rest and possibly Lodolo on even shorter rest, because those are 2 crafty left-handers, and we know a lot of the guys in our lineup, especially Otani. Otani can get exposed against those left-handed pitchers. We saw it a little bit today from the Reds bullpen. And the Reds bullpen's been very elite as well. They kind of held the Dodgers in check for most of the game, besides 1 or 2 pitchers. So we'll see what Terry Francona does. NLDS would start on Saturday, so the Dodgers would have a couple off days until they begin that series. You really want to wrap it up so you don't go to Otani for a game 3, winner take all there, because then you burn Otani and then you kind of have to reshuffle things in the NLDS. So hopefully they win tomorrow, and then we'll see what we're talking about then.
What would the probables be for us? Otani, if it did go, we have, the 2 days off, start on Saturday, you start with Otani, then you'd put...
Yeah, you could do Otani game 1. That seems, even they were asking Dave Roberts post game. I'm looking on my Twitter feed right now. They were trying to kind of get a little bit of a preview of the NLDS, and he did say that Otani would go game 1 or game 2, which makes sense because game 1, there's an off day right after, and then you have game 2, and then there's an off day for travel. So he could realistically start either one of those days, because the Dodgers have been very hell-bent to make sure that when he does pitch, he doesn't start or play a game the next day, because we've seen the numbers. They've been very bad on the days after he starts, like a 192 batting average, all that stuff, slugging like very down. OPS is at like 500. So, and then you could theoretically go Snell and then Yamamoto, Glasnow, and then revert back to Ohtani on his full rest for a game 5. So I think that's the Dodgers' plan. Clearly, not everything always goes to plan, especially if they say the Reds even force a game 3 here. And yeah, who knows? We'll see what happens.
We'll see. I mean, nothing's determined yet, but I think we saw earlier that a lot of the teams that tend to win the first game tend to, win out in terms of the wild card. So, Anthony, I'll just kind of go to you. Did you see the winners today? Because it's looking like the Padres lost.
Yeah, actually, so it's kind of hard to keep track of games. Like I have my Apple Watch, so I get notifications, but I really don't get a feel for it because I'm not watching. But let's just say the Padres fans in my life were awfully quiet tonight. Awfully quiet. I wonder why. But yeah, it's fun. Playoff time is fun this time of year, especially some of these games. I knew Scuba went out there and just shoved. Crochet the same way too. I'm kind of glad our guy Blake Snell went out there and kind of shoved as well too. But this is kind of when you separate yourself from the cream of the crop and these aces come out and dominate. But yeah, playoff time is basically best time of the year. It used to be fun when I was back in college and I had all the freedom of the world to watch all these games. And now that I'm in the working world, I kind of have limited to what I can watch. But when I try to, I kind of sneak off and I'll watch different games here and now, every now and then.
Yeah, I kind of got a chance to peek in because we did the show pre-show earlier, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna check in kind of how when it was. I guess it was Nick Pivetta and was their pitcher. Didn't do too bad, but Tatis, Arraez, and Machado didn't hit, so they
Yeah,
didn't have
I got
the
the
game
same amount of hits as them today too, as well.
amount. I did too.
Yeah.
So yeah, they and I hate being petty, but with the Padres, I can be petty. So yay on that. So we're gonna go ahead and get just kind of plug everything and get ready to wrap up the show. But yeah, I think Cody, we're gonna be doing some games or some pregame, postgame. Continue to do that, correct?
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of content. I'm sure Steve Webb is listening to all the post-game interviews that Roger's going to get ready and post here on the Bleed Lows YouTube channel. All those will be in written format on DodgersBeat.com. I'll have another preview for tomorrow's game and then any other updates that we're going to get from tonight and tomorrow. So definitely going to be a busy day. Game 2 of the wild card. Dodgers are going to look for that sweep. We will be back here for pregame and postgame. Hopefully we're talking and celebrating a Dodgers sweep. But yeah, I don't have anything else from this game. I feel like we saw a little bit of everything, kind of the season in a nutshell. The offense was there, the pitching looked really good, and the bullpen just ended up doing what they've been doing for a majority of the season. So if the Dodgers can outlast their bullpen, I mean, and if Dave Roberts can, manage his way and wiggle his way around this bullpen, I mean, you may have to build him a statue for Dodger Stadium. So, but yeah, exciting win. Getting ready for tomorrow, and we'll be back.
Yeah, we'll be back. Anthony, final words before we close the show.
Final words. I love playoff baseball. That's my final words. But no, I'll be tweeting along. I'll be following along if I'm not frozen in fear when the bullpen comes in. But I try to keep as active and I try to keep it as light as possible and funny as possible. But yeah, more than excited for tomorrow's game.
Wow. Yeah. Tomorrow, a short series scare me, but we got off to the right foot, even if the bullpen did scare, the crap out of us. We got through it. So hopefully tomorrow we can, 24 hours from now, be talking about, moving on to the NLDS and then really just, getting ready for those Phillies. But yes, definitely check out DodgersBeat.com. Check out the Bleed Lows YouTube channel. There's going to be all kinds of content coming up. We're going to up it this week and make sure that you are all up to date on everything that there is to know about the Dodgers during this playoff run. Go ahead and check out our handles. You can find me, Drea, at Instagram at Ravine Queen 1958. Check out Anthony on X and Instagram at Anthony Acosta _. And please check out Cody on X at Snavely Cody 6. And until tomorrow's pregame, go ahead and we'll just say, let's go Dodgers. Congratulations.
Go Dodgers.